And we're back for real this time. The Incredible Hoax. I am Chris.
I am Mark.
We're going to actually talk about the Mandalorian this time. I think. We'll never know. Then the rabbit
Fingers
hole.
crossed. Here we go.
The rabbit hole that is. Lead us off. Let's just get to it. What do you think of the Mandalorian?
Disney Plus is bringing us the Mandalorian. Yay! All right, I think it's great. I give it 4 stars so far. I'm really enjoying it.
Because it does matter, because it's being released as we do this.
Yeah.
Just for context, we are taping this after the release of episode 7.
So there's one more to go.
So we have
before
not
the finale.
seen 8.
We've not seen the finale now.
Okay, so just so people watch this, they'll
Yeah.
know where we are. So in case
Sure.
we say something stupid. And yes, spoilers will be spoiler filled in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So turn it off if you don't want to spoil. Your thoughts on on overall, I guess, because
Well-
we don't know how it's going to end. Obviously,
Well, first of all, this is it's very much a Western. And
Yes.
I love that. It's very much Man with No Name, Clint Eastwood, Sergio Leone kind of a thing that they're doing in space, and I love that. I love that they're taking basically a character that really people wanted for Boba Fett. And
without going into a major thing, just give me a short answer. We can talk about it later.
Okay.
Space Western has been attempted before with a Serendipity, or what is it called?
Oh, Serenity.
Serenity.
You're talking about Firefly, the series.
Firefly.
Yeah.
Don't go into the whole Firefly thing.
Okay.
How do you think this compares, just staying on the space Western thing? How does this compare to that attempt? Because I never watched Firefly that much. Do you think they're comparable? You think they're both good in their own way?
Yeah, they're good in their own way.
So it's apples and oranges. It's not.
But they're not. Yeah, they're not the same. It's a different take on the
All right.
space western.
All Well, when you said space western, I was
Both
like,
are great though.
I thought of Firefly, and I was like,
Yeah.
I knew you're a fan. I'm like, wow, you're a fan of both. Is there something here that they have in common other than being a space western?
Well,
Because you love both.
I will say that they do have in common in that both are kind of living on the. Both are the characters are living kind of on the outer rim of known society.
Which is what western.
But that's kind of
a Western.
That's kind of familiar to westerns.
You're always on the
anyway.
frontier, in the edge,
Yeah.
the west, the new west.
So that is certainly there.
Okay.
But from there, and also you have a hero in Mal who is very much he's an anti-hero, and he was in a war that he was on the losing side of, and he's kind of in that gray period.
So he's like a Civil War veteran.
So he's like a Civil War
It's
veteran.
the South.
Yeah,
South,
there's that kind of a thing, and then Mandalorian. At least we don't know much about him, but at least with his being a bounty hunter in the beginning, is in kind of a gray period. But
yeah, you get the sense that the Mandalorian were great warriors, but they're kind of disbanded and disjointed now.
Yeah, so there's a lot more character stuff going on in Firefly versus this. This is more
right.
This is more straightforward.
Okay, well, I just was curious if there was like a connection, since you're such a big fan of both.
Yeah, just small
Right. Onward
similarities.
and upward.
Let's see. But yeah, they have a Man with No Name thing going on.
Yeah.
I like that they're getting good supporting cast in too. It's not people you've never heard of. I mean, bringing in Carl Weathers, that was a cool. That was a cool
Yeah.
bit of acting choice. And then Werner Herzog being a steely former Imperial
Yeah, I love him. And
officer. That's just great. John,
That was a brilliant casting choice, by
Giancarlo, we'll see him in episode 8, but we all know him from
Breaking Bad.
where he was just one of the most memorable
Yeah.
TV villains ever.
Yeah. Gus.
Yeah, Gus.
Yeah. Gus Fring.
Fring. That's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was, good Lord, he was great in Breaking Bad. So, they're getting quality. Even Ming-Na has that small appearance. So they're getting it's a really quality product. I don't feel like this is like, well, we only have like $1,000, so we really wrote a story stuff
Oh,
where we
yeah.
could shoot. You really feel like they?
It's the most expensive series ever made, or Game of Thrones still, most expensive series.
That I don't know,
Oh, okay.
but
I know they spent a shitload per episode.
I mean, it's going to be Lord of the Rings, the Netflix.
Yeah, that's like $1 billion
or Prime.
budget.
Prime. I'm sorry, Prime.
It's literally got like $1 billion.
It's $1 billion, so it's gonna be the record holder.
Yeah.
But this, it's a really big budget, looks great, action's good. They got to get with that cinematographer though. It's like, dude, when you're shooting night, turn the lights on. Especially that episode where there's a night ambush with some space pirates or something.
Can we go ahead and talk about that now?
So
that's my biggest.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like it. Let me just, before I go on the criticism, I like it. I don't know if I love it like everybody else does, but I like it.
Okay.
Nothing to complain about, okay? In terms of story to complain about. But this is a really big complaint, and it's really the only one I have. I can't see scenes. Hardly at all. I don't know if, I don't have this much trouble with other shows.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried multiple TVs. I've messed with the settings on the TV. I've watched it on this computer. Trust me, I've got, I don't know how many 4K TVs in this damn house. Mm-hmm. And we've got, the gigabit internet and everything else. So
Right.
I don't think it's for a lack of technology on my side. And I don't think it's my eyes. It is the darkest damn thing ever. And I don't think it's tonal. If it is, it's failing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's tonal darkness, like Godfather. And then there's, shit, dude, I can't see.
Yeah.
It's like the scene from Django Unchained. It'd be nice to see. So, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a big problem.
Yeah. Well, episode 4, they had that whole. It's kind of a Seven Samurai plot,
Yeah.
Where
With the ATST.
you have the brigands and the bounty hunter teaching the village to protect themselves, that kind of a thing. But that whole scene in the night where the brigands attack, it's hard to see. That one was the hardest one to watch because that's a good half or a solid third of that show is in the dark and it's hard to see. Hopefully they'll fix that. I don't know if that was an inspiration from the Solo film, but that was one of the complaints about Solo.
Yeah.
Is too many scenes of that movie is too short. It's shot too dark. It was overdone. But on the story side, I like that a lot of Boba Fett fans always felt like that was a character that had, really cool suit and they didn't really explore this character, and people kind of hungered for that. So this is a way, Mandalorian, of kind of taking the suit that's similar and having him be a bounty hunter, but so you're getting a new Boba, without him being Boba, but it's like you're getting your Boba Fett fix, but he's by another name. So I thought that was interesting.
Is he?
Well, I mean,
Is he?
There may be more.
Can we get into speculation yet?
There might be more on that, but I just it's, for what we know right now,
I understand. Yes,
I thought that was a cool.
Which with what we've been given, he's not.
That was a cool thing to do. Jon Favreau is the creator and writer of the show, and he clearly knows Star Wars. He's clearly making a Star Wars show that I've been hungering for since 1983, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a blast, and anything with Gina Carano in it.
So you're a big fan of. I like her. I like her a lot.
Yeah,
She's cool.
She is stunning. So
the darkness thing is my big
thumbs
complaint. I like the Mandalorian character. It's amazing how much I like a guy that I've never seen his face. So it's a hell of an acting job by what's his name, Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
So it's a hell of an acting job by him. Of course, we cannot have this show without Baby Yoda. We cannot. We cannot have.
Yeah, we were going to get to it eventually. Yeah.
We have to cover Baby Yoda for a second here. Baby Yoda is this sensation now.
Yes.
Probably the biggest surprise star of 2019, for damn sure.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think they knew also that. I don't think
They had the toys ready, so maybe they didn't.
Well, maybe they did foresee it, but smart on
I'm
their
saying
part.
they didn't have the toys
Oh, they
ready.
didn't. Oh, they didn't.
They didn't have the toys ready, which could be a marketing ploy, like the 1977,
the empty box
empty box
campaign. Yeah.
Maybe it's a marketing ploy, but anyway, Baby Yoda has been a sensation. I love the memes. I have a lot of fun with the memes. If you want to circle back to Baby Yoda, you can. I don't know what those are to say. And it's supposed to be called the child, but everybody's just nicknamed it Baby Yoda.
Yeah, because we know
We don't know the damn name.
It's the same species,
Right.
but we don't really know who or what it is just yet. So.
I would rather talk about speculation than Baby Yoda now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have a whole lot to say about Baby Yoda other than he's amazing and he's cute, but I don't know where it's going. So, speculation. I think he's Boba Fett.
Okay.
They only call him Mando or Mandalorian. They've never said his name. They've never seen his face. He lost his armor. If he went in the fucking Starlight, whatever you call it, Starlight pit, you can make the case he got out of there and lost all his armor in the process.
Yeah.
He looks just like the Christmas special Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
With the U-shaped staff thing and all that kind of stuff,
right?
The colors and everything else. So they definitely. So he looks like Boba Fett in terms of the Christmas special Boba Fett. Lost all the armor, not seen his or heard his name. They've kind of like thrown us a red herring, I think, with those little flashbacks where you see the super battle droid, and he's like a little kid. You see a little kid. And it's implied that like his parents were killed in this war and the Mandalorians took him in. But they don't say that. They just imply it. So you could always say that. I could always see it be one of those things where you see the full flashback and like there's a super battle droid and there's a little kid and you think it's a Mando. But then all of a sudden Boba Fett shows up and it's like somebody else. The kid is not him. He's, whatever.
Yeah.
So, because he was a little kid when his father was killed, Jango, and the Clone Wars lasted however long it lasted, so he could be like a teenager by the time the Clone Wars end.
Right.
So you should always be like, and now here's a teenager, or Pascal like shaving and looking all clean and up.
Yeah.
And there he is. He saves the kid or something. You see him like as early Boba Fett or something, right? So that's the red herring in my book. I think it's Boba Fett.
Okay. Well, and
I know they come out and said it wasn't, but yeah, fuck that.
Well,
of course they're gonna say that.
The Clone Wars series has some episodes with Boba in it, and those are considered canon. And so we know at some point he falls in with the bounty hunter groups, primarily to get revenge on, the Jedi and the people he's ticked off at. So. But that doesn't preclude him from possibly falling in with some decent folk that are his parents, and maybe that's what the flashbacks regarding. I mean, we don't know. You're asking us to speculate. I mean, I suppose it's possible. I just think they're kind of going with a clean slate, but I could be wrong.
So, do you have a prediction that he is not Boba Fett? Is your prediction that he isn't? Are you open-minded to it? Where are you at that?
Oh, I would be fine if they go that way. I don't. I think they're going with a clean slate.
So you're open-minded to it, but you don't think it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I will say there was a homage in episode 5. It's the episode where that young bounty hunter wants to get to the guild. And Mando agrees to help him out and show him the ropes. And there's that scene where they're both traveling across like the desert wasteland, and they're on those speeder bikes. Well, that's right out of the Christmas special. If you remember where Boba's going along and he had that speeder bike and all that. Some of the shots reminded me of that Christmas special. I thought, yeah, y'all done your homework. Good. That's very.
Well, yeah,
I totally recognize that. I thought, well, this would back up Chris's theory that if you're going Boba, that might be our first little wink, wink. Just wait. So I will say that.
I think it's Boba Fett. We'll see. I could be wrong, and it wouldn't shock me if they don't address that in episode 8. It wouldn't shock me if that just lingers. That's a season 2 or even 3 thing.
Yeah. Well, and thank goodness there's going to be a season 2.
Well,
by the way, they're already shooting it. So.
Well, it's like Walter White from Breaking Bad. Like, it wasn't then he didn't get the shaved head and goatee to like way into the series, but everybody remembers him that way.
Yeah, but he didn't get that
It was,
season 1. No.
Yeah, so it's like people
Yeah.
forget. They always associate, well, that's the look, but sometimes it takes a while to get there.
Yeah, I think it was a season 3 thing, wasn't
I
it?
don't know.
Because he finally had chemo at some point. That's where he just started shaving his head. So.
I don't know. And it's just like a Better Call Saul. You know, he has not like fully converted to Saul Goodman yet.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like I can see they doing a thing where it's a slow
Incremental
reveal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that flashbacks are red herring completely.
Well, and they're
Could be
vague.
wrong.
They're vague enough too with the timeline
Mm-hmm.
that gives them some flexibility. I mean, they're saying, "Oh, it's it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi." Well, I mean, you could say that all day, but you could easily go, "Well, we're gonna retrofit the thing. It was 6 months ago." Oh, well, okay. I mean, if you leave things vague enough, you could give yourself some outs there,
Right.
depending on where you want to go. And it is weird to see this character, Baby Yoda, become the big sensation. I mean, it's a cute character, and because he's so fragile and vulnerable, this is the magic of the show. Is instantly you look at this thing and he's so small, and so he looks so fragile. You're like, oh my God! You instantly worry about the thing.
Yeah.
He's a baby, for heaven's sakes, and you're like, well, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? So anytime you have that fear of outcome, it is great drama, and I wish more and more scripts would understand that doubt of the outcome is a great engine for your story.
Sure.
And if you just have things kind of
Essential in lots of ways.
yeah, and if you're not able to kind of convey that danger,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like a lot of films it's just that it just things are just too contrived, or just things are just not convincing.
Mm-hmm.
So for the show to pull that off, it's very just basic, but it's also universal storytelling is what we're seeing so far, which I think is why I like it and why it's so appealing. It's just getting back to some general themes. It's not trying to get off in any kind of sermon or anything like that. Thank God. It's just telling us an old-fashioned story of a guy who may have been in a gray spot, and maybe he's going in his own character arc and becoming a better person. And then that to me is that's simple enough. That to me that's interesting enough if it's done right, and this one's doing it well. Yeah.
Well, I like it. I don't know what else to say about it until we have the whole story and the whole season.
Yeah. So far, so good.
So far, so good. I'm with it. It'd be nice if they, turn the brightness on season 2. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see some of the things they did. Spent a lot of money on it. Should be nice to see it.
Yeah. Do the old James Cameron blue light thing so you can see stuff.
Something.
Something.
Do cinematographer.
Day for night, that'll work.
I don't know. Turn up the brightness just a hair. 2 clicks.
Yeah.
2 clicks at least.
And we know you have a good enough budget, so you can afford a light bulb. There you go.
For this kind of money, I should be able to see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's still good. I still like it.
Did we cover anything we don't like about it before we close?
Honestly, the lighting is my complaint.
Besides the lighting, okay.
That's I don't know. I don't really have a complaint other than lighting. Well, let me say that. I will say this. I take that back. It does meander a bit. There's a couple of the episodes. The Baby Yoda storyline is the one I care about.
Okay.
And we're kind of drifting off that, and they kind of made it where, in this episode, he helps the tribe, and in this episode, they are on the prison ship.
Right.
They just don't. Those storylines didn't interest me as much as the Baby Yoda stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I care about that. I want to see that story unfold, and they've kind of made it like the adventures of, in a way, and
well, and you don't know.
I don't know really. It didn't really interest me that much.
If I could pivot back to the whole speculation before we get out of here,
Yeah.
I'll say this. To me, it makes sense if this is taking place during New Republic, well, we know Luke is reforming the Jedi Order. Right? Would it make sense? Would that be interesting if the finale is he realizes that it's a force sensitive creature and he needs to take it to the Jedi, and then you have like a little cameo of like young CGI Luke as he hands him the child, and their roll credits. He's like, "Well, that was a good first season." That would make sense because I mean, you wouldn't imagine he would be the caretaker for this thing. And definitely, yeah, that would.
Unless they're just doing Lone Wolf and Cub, which is definitely an inspiration. So if they're doing Lone Wolf and Cub, then maybe that's what it is. It's them two, they're partners.
And yeah, if they want to go that route, we'll see how if they can maintain.
Yeah, it seems like a tall order.
That to me is more challenging. To me, it makes more sense to like, okay, this is an excuse to bring back young Luke and for fan service.
You are obsessed with Luke. You are.
Well, it's just the time.
You're the only person I know that's that way.
It's the time.
That's not criticism. Don't get offended, please. If you get offended, I apologize up front because I don't mean it that way. But you're the only fan I know that is this fixated on Luke. Even people on the internet, you are 100, and everybody else is like at a 10 maybe with it.
Yeah.
Like you're the only person I know that's that fixated on Luke. Like I've never fixated on Luke the way you have. I've always saw Star Wars as like all of them, and if there was one central character, it was Vader.
Yeah.
God mighty, you are fixated on Luke.
Well,
it drives every Star Wars narrative that you see. It drives all of them. They're all come back to Luke for you.
Well, yeah.
I don't get that. It's not a criticism. It's just it hit me when you said that. I was like, Jesus, he's taking this back to Luke.
Well, only because of the timeline. Because the timeline, Luke would be.
He could be doing General Luke. He's General Luke doing stuff.
At that point in the timeline, Luke would be in Coruscant or wherever rebuilding the Jedi Order.
Yeah, but I mean, your opinion on Luke dictates your thoughts on the original trilogy.
Plus, it would be a nice. It would be a nice little fan service for us that got screwed over.
I'm not criticizing. I don't mean any offense. I really don't mean offense, and I don't mean to be critical.
I'm sure they're not going to do that, but the timeline would work.
It just hit me when you were talking. Like, God. Again, I don't mean offense. I don't mean to be critical. It's just an observation when you said that. It's like, man, you take everything back to Luke. Man, like a lot.
Well, I'm not sure how to respond to that other than I have said before, even on our programs, that Luke is the reason I give two shits about movies. And and to me, he's like the cinema icon for me. He's he was my buy-in, and to me, I mean, he's a character that kind of optimistic, white knight, hopeful, never gives up kind of character that I relate to, or that I at least that inspires me. But I guess if I'm alone on that, I guess I am.
Well, I mean, you're not alone. You're not alone. I'm just saying that I've never known anybody to be as fixated on the Luke and Luke story and Luke stuff as much as you. I don't even see it talked about that much online compared to not with your depth of, not at your depth. I mean, obviously, when it came to The Last Jedi, how Luke was treated was a major story that a lot of people talked about. But you bring everything back to Luke. I understand you are explaining that. I get it.
Okay.
But you just bring a lot of things back to Luke that I don't. I bring things back to. I've always been more of a bad guy. I was always fixated on Vader, and I always wanted the bad guy toys, and I always wanted Vader's toy. That's what I always. So to me, like who the villain was more important. That's why when Snoke. Now we're going on fucking Last Jedi again. That's why when Snoke was so bad and Kylo Ren was so wishy-washy, that was like so. All that just didn't work as well. It was all hinged on the bad guys, so. I took it all like the bad guys are what drove the story.
Well, he's one of some of the more popular. He's one this kind of character type where it's like the characters who end up being in a very small role in life, but then find out they could have a larger role in life. They could be something more than they currently are. You know, that's their starting point.
Well, yeah, a lot of us feel that way as people.
And I really,
it's very relatable.
I really respond to those kind of stories.
You and I both have felt that way ourselves.
Yeah, you want to be more than what you're doing right now.
Yeah, you and I both have felt that, and there are millions of other people.
And so there's a lot of that with Luke. I mean, farm boy, but he ends up saving the universe. Like, well, yeah, that sign me up.
Ultimate fantasy type thing.
And then, of course, you know, Frodo, he's just also simple guy, has his little garden in his house, you know, and ends up saving, you know, the universe. Yeah. Neo, just, you know, you could have a long list of those in cinema, but for me, Luke, of course, is like the first for me and number one. So that might be what's driving some of that.
Again, it's not a criticism, and definitely not a complaint. It's definitely not a criticism. It's nothing to take offense to. It was an observation.
And I only mentioned it because the timeline.
I understand.
So I wasn't trying to make a Luke thing, but anyway.
Well, we spent so much time on Luke is such at the heart of The Last Jedi. You cannot not talk. Our conversation about Last Jedi, which led to Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
that was a Luke-centric conversation.
Sure.
And then bringing Mandalorian back to that, I was like, good night. That's feels like a stretch. But okay, I get it. Fair enough.
Well, I was just engaging some speculation of how you could wrap up that Baby Yoda story, and it would make sense.
If it's really bad, if we're like, Jar Jar, if only he could went to Tatooine to watch Luke and wean him, we could see those years. Then I'd be like, man, you need some therapy if that's the case. You want to see that story. But no, you've never said that.
No.
I don't think you would ever want that for the love of Pete.
No. However, the Obi-Wan show, we know he's not going to be on Tatooine for 4 seasons.
He's got to be doing adventures.
So he's going to go on adventures. So somebody's going to be there to watch the...
I would like to see Naboo revisit. Like, they didn't even mention Naboo in Mandalorian. They said, "Oh, he's a Gungan." They said something. He talks like a Gungan or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of talking like a Gungan, Misa adiosa.